Hello my friends, happy Monday and welcome to another video here on CoolStuffInc.com, your number one spot for both Magic content as well as all your gaming needs, gaming supplies. It's Christmas, alright? You got friends and loved ones, they need games, Cool Stuff's the place to do it. Use promo code JIM5 for 5% off. Alright, this is part 2 of my my SCGCon invitational experience. On Friday, my article talked about how I went rogue at SCGCon. SCGCon is a split format tournament. It is half modern and half standard. It's also one of the biggest tournaments on the year. First prize $20,000, and you can only play in it if you're qualified. It is essentially the pro tour of the SCG tour, with opens kind of being like Grand Prix. And I went rogue, as you read about on CoolStuffInc.com on Friday. I played a Rakdos mid-range deck in Standard, which I like a lot. If you missed that article, check it out on CoolStuffInc.com. That was up on Friday. And I spent most of the article talking about the Rakdos deck because I had already made a video for it here on Cool Stuff about a month ago when I was working on it. And B, I wanted to split it up and do the modern portion today in the video. So check out the article, Rakdos mid-range, and so on and so forth. But now, today, we're looking at my modern selection. So, it's pretty weird and wild to go rogue in a tournament of this magnitude. To play a rogue deck in both formats is kind of crazy, but I was very happy with both decks. So, what do we have here? I've dubbed this deck Loxobots, despite Nick Miller trying to call it Venerated Taxes on coverage. This is a deck that I was working on my stream. I tried a bunch of different versions of it. This is the version that I came to after talking it over with Ross Merriam and Tanning Grace, my Team BCW teammates. And the original idea came from wanting to explore Venerated Loxodon in Modern. This card is exceptionally powerful. We've seen it in Standard. But cards like this are the cards you look out for in older formats because of how well they scale as the other cards around it get better. So in Standard, we're playing Venerated Loxodon with, some reasonable 1-drops, Healers, Hawks, and then, of course, History of Benalia and things like that. However, in Modern, we get to go a little crazier. We get to play 8 total 0-drops, as well as a multitude of excellent 1-drops. So, by doing that, our Loxodons get much, much better. They can come out much earlier. They can come out as early as turn 1. At the Invitational, I had a turn 1 against Jonathan Sekenic in the feature match area, where I went turn 1, Memnite, Ornithopter, Mox Opal, Plains, Toolcraft Exemplar, tap all the creatures in the land, play Venerated Loxodon, and say go. And I won that game. So Venerated Loxodon, very, very powerful. It also provides a nice edge. Typically, cards like Lightning Bolt and Anger of the Gods are very good against a deck like this. Cards like Fatal Push. And it manages to dodge all of those cards by being a 5-mana cost creature with 4 toughness. Just fantastic card. So we're built around Venerated Loxodon. A lot of it cheap cards you often see in Affinity. Memnite and Ornithopter and Signal Pest. Kind of mixed together with a little bit of kind of a Death and Taxes theme here. Although, instead of playing a slow, mid-rangey, stinky game, we're playing a fast and aggressive game. So we have Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, and we have Leonin Arbiter as our disruptive elements of choice. And the reason why these cards work so well in this deck is that in Death and Taxes style decks, they're too slow to really take advantage. A Thalia, Guardian of Thraben is not going to beat your opponent forever. It's just going to slow them down. Leonin Arbiter, same thing. These sort of taxing effects are good in very fast games, just like Daze is in Legacy. If you're playing Control deck, Daze is not very good. But if you're playing Delver of Secrets and trying to kill them really fast, then it's great. So this is the first deck I've seen in the modern format that's had the ability to play these threats, humans withstanding with Thalia, of course, and also provide a very fast clock. This deck is capable of casting Leonin Arbiter or Thalia on turn 1 with Mox Opal and enough 0-mana artifacts, and that is very, very good. So we have our fast element in our 0-drops and our Loxodons. We have our disruptive element in our Leonin Arbiters. We have a really good selection of powerful standard cards here that come together to form a good modern deck. Toolcraft Exemplar, fantastic in this deck. Almost always a 3-power first striker. Inspector, just a great solid creature, but also provides an artifact for your artifact synergies and helps you not flood later in the game. Legion's Landing can flip on turn 2 with this deck. If you go turn 1 landing, Memnite, Memnite, that's turn 1 flip, or turn 2 flip. So the extra mana is great, the resilience is great. And we have Blade Splicer here. It's just an extra artifact creature. It's 2 bodies for 3 mana. It's nice that we have some individually powerful cards in our deck also. Decks like Affinity, often have a few payoff cards, but most of their cards kind of stink. If we go Toolcraft into Thalia into Blade Splicer, that's still a reasonable curve, even if we're not doing broken things with Mox Opal or Loxodon. Mana base is also excellent. We have almost all of our lands are seeing good use. We have our 3 basic lands. We have 4 copies of Horizon Canopy, which is fantastic for a deck like this because we're very scared of flooding. And we can just exchange this in for a new card very easily. Deck does not need much mana to operate. We have 3 copies of Shefet Dunes, which is an almost free card in this deck. Obviously, we might pain once or twice here and there, but the ability to pump up all our creatures later in the game for very little cost is fantastic. 4 Ghost Quarter to go along with our Leonin Arbiters, and then 4 Darksteel Citadel for all of our artifact synergies. Also, some mild mana fixing here. You can Ghost Quarter your own Citadel to get white mana if necessary without losing a land. So, deck is fast, deck is aggressive, deck is powerful. It's capable of having busted draws, which is a very important part of the modern format. But it's also capable of throwing a wrench in your opponent's plan. If your opponent wants to flip the thing in the ice or go look for Tron lands, these cards are going to slow them down. And when you put 7 or 8 power in play on turn 1 and 2, don't need to slow them down for long. Sideboard's got 4 Path to Exile for your creature matchups, humans and spirits and so on and so forth. 2 Forge-Tender, very, very good against Anger of the Gods and other Lightning Bolt decks. Very good for protecting your Thalia against the Arclight Phoenix decks. 2 Ethersworn Canonist, also fantastic against the Arclight Phoenix decks and combo decks. 3 Rest in Peace. This is one of the important ones. Any deck that can play Rest in Peace without it hurting the strategy is very powerful in Modern because so many decks use the graveyard. So being able to put a bunch of power in play and then a Rest in Peace in play is fantastic. 1 Thalia Heretic Cathar. I wanted 1 extra card for creature matchups. 2 Gideon Ally Zendikar. Perhaps one of our best cards in fair matchups. Decks like Jund, Jeskai Control. It attacks on a totally different angle than your creatures. And with cards like Mox Opal and Legion's Landing, you can cast Gideon on turn 2 without too much difficulty, which is awesome. And 1 Damping Sphere for all your Tron and Storm opponents out there that want to get rude with you. Deck is powerful, disruptive, and really, really fun to play. I haven't been this excited about a deck in a while. Deck's very awesome. I also missed the 1 Hope of Ghirapur, which is extra flying 1-drop, and then occasionally we can sacrifice it to fog a combo deck for 1 turn and kill them. So deck's awesome. We're going to run it through a league. I went 5-3 in the modern portion of the Invitational playing this deck. All in all, very, very happy with it. I came in 35th overall. I went 6-2 with my Rakdos mid-range deck, which again you can read about on CoolStuffInc.com in my article that went up on Friday. Check that one out. All right, Loxobots, Lex Battle. Oh boy. 3 of a kind. Mox Opal is a very good card, is also a very good legendary card. We're not going to be making great use of these extra 2 copies of Mox Opal. And this 5-card hand doesn't look very good either, so we're going to ship this one. This hand is something else. I think we're going to keep this hand. We have 2 looks at a land, or Mox, and we play a land on turn 1 and cast a creature, a Memnite, and a Memnite. We can flip landing on 2. We have a very easy Loxodon here. We're going to keep this no land hand, and we're drawing to essentially 22 mana sources in a scry and a draw step. Okay, that's a bottom. Grove of the Burnwillows. This isn't... Oh, God. Someone write the petition to ban Crackland Ironworks in Modern, and I will sign it right now. I'm okay with Ancient Stirrings, and I'm okay with Mox Opal. but I think the card Crackland Ironworks and the deck itself is just egregious. It just breaks too many rules. It's just miserable to play with, play against, miserable to explain to a newer player, miserable on basically all axes. It's not a great matchup either because they have main deck engineered explosives. All right, we drew a land. That's a start. Now we just need to draw any land next turn or a mana source so we can Ghost Quarter for a white if necessary. We're pretty soft to an engineered explosives, but it's not really much we can do about that, unfortunately. Okay. Alright. It's probably casually dead on turn 3 here. Alright, that was not a white source. Alright, and we're probably just dead here, but I think there was definitely a keep. I think that when you're on the draw on a mulligan to 6, you're already an underdog. Mulligan to 5 feels terrible, and our hand was actually fantastic if we found a white source in our scry, then draw step, then draw step. You know, even if it was that turn. You know, you get to go landing, attack with all creatures, flip landing, play Inspector, go, next turn Loxodon. It was all nice, but Mishra's Bauble. Ironworks plays Mishra's Bauble? Seems weird. For a combo deck, the delayed draw on Mishra's Bauble seems very peculiar. That is odd. I don't really understand that. Okay. I mean, at this point, we are, you know, even if we draw the white now, it just doesn't even matter at this point. So we have to do our thing, but it's just too late. Probably too late. Flip Legion's Landing. Deal some damage. Play Inspector. Now we're a turn or two behind the 8 ball. Would have liked to have done that on turn 1 or turn 2. I mean, not last turn. All right. I mean, I'll spend the entirety of their turn comboing explaining why I think that Crackland Ironworks should be banned in Modern. Loops aren't fun. Yeah, I mean, we're just going to sit here forever. It's like somewhat deterministic in once they have a loop, but not until then. It's time consuming. It's annoying. Trying to explain to a newer player how you can sacrifice Scrap Trawler and a Mirror Retriever and an Ironworks and a something else to the mana ability of Chromatic Star is atrocious. It's just egregious in most elements. Obviously, I just won the Invitational. My good friend Andrew Jessup took it all down. Very proud of him. It's been fun watching him grow as a Magic player over the last few years. Almost an Ironworks final. An all Ironworks final. But Austin Collins lost to Dredge, which was very surprising. We were pretty sure we were going to see an all Ironworks final because the matchup against Dredge is pretty good for Ironworks, and then Andrew crushed Dredge in 3 games pretty easily in the finals. But I believe they have everything you need. I'm just going to concede. I mean, they have Retriever, Trawler, Ironworks Star, and a 0 mana spell. So they get to sacrifice a bunch of stuff. Yeah, whatever. We're just dead. I don't want to play anymore. Yeah. So we kept a speculative hand. It paid off. It paid off 1 turn too late. It might not have mattered though. They just killed us on turn 4 on the play, and I don't think our hand was going to kill on turn 3 on the play. So or on the draw. So not very fun. Obviously, if we had drawn a Thalia, it would have been a lot better. But we don't really have a ton. I mean, Rest in Peace is great. Damping Sphere is good. Canonist is actually not good because it doesn't count artifact spells. Thalia is probably better than Blade Splicer. We can cut all these Blade Splicers. Hope of Ghirapur is actually pretty good in this matchup, I think, because if on turn 3 we attack them with a good amount of creatures, we can sacrifice it and basically fog them from comboing us for one turn. So that's pretty good. Leonin Arbiter is not particularly great. They don't have any fetch lands. It does stop the search effect on Inventor's Fair, and of course we can wasteland them with Ghost Quarter, but it's not super exciting otherwise. Thalia is important. All of our aggressive creatures are important. I can see shaving a landing, and maybe a Thraben Inspector. Maybe Thalia. Yeah, this just better than Thalia. Thalia just stinks. All right, I'm pretty cool with this. So we have to add some resting pieces in a damping sphere, add some disruption. Obviously, Thalia is already disruption, and then if we get to have an Leonin Arbiter Ghost Quarter turn, that's nice too. Just gotta race them. Again, unfortunately, they have main deck engineered explosives in their deck, which is pretty tough. But we have a turn 1 Thalia here, which is pretty good. Although Thalia does not stop explosives in any way at all, unfortunately. So that kind of stinks. But this is a pretty good hand, all things considered. If we draw a land, we can go... I guess we gotta draw a land for Damping Sphere anyway, but play Toolcraft next turn. This is only 3 power by itself. Obviously drawing a Loxodon would be fantastic. Yeah, our best draw is definitely just Venerated Loxodon. We just get to go Toolcraft Exemplar, cast Loxodon. They can't cast anything on turn 1 unless they're playing a Mox, which they obviously are. Inspector. Not ideal, but... So we draw a Mana Source, we can cast a Sphere. One annoying thing is that all of our good hate cards all cost 2, which make them especially vulnerable to engineered explosives. Normally, if you have multiple disruption effects against the combo deck, they can't kill all of them, so you're fine. But when they all cost 2, it's annoying. But Arbiter's pretty good. It's unfortunate we can't also Wasteland, but it does set up for next turn. Okay, so this 2 mana H Stirrings is very good for us here, because they're unlikely to be able to play anything else that's meaningful. And then we get to attack for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 next turn, and Wasteland them, and cast another creature. That's probably good enough. Oh, they found explosives. Alright. And a land. So they're going to cast explosives for 2 here, and just hope it's good enough. I think that's fine. So if they want to pop explosives for 2, X is 1, but it costs 2 because they had to pay the extra Thalia tax, which is a nice little interaction there. All right. Now we draw a land. So now we obviously can't play Sphere because they have explosives on 2 anyway. So we get to just attack with everything. They take a bunch of damage. They go to 3, I believe. Yep. And then we just Ghost Quarter their I think Grove makes the most sense. And play an Inspector. And so go. They get 12 explosives. We have 3 power here and 5 power total. Should be in good shape here. It's not the best hand, but in turn 1 Thalia is pretty good. Didn't have a huge clock to back it up, but all in all, a reasonable hand. Even though our hand wasn't phenomenal, our disruptive elements were able to slow them down enough to get the job done, it looks like. Toolcraft Exemplar is the card in the deck that really made me excited. It's the card that made me go, this might be more than just like a meme. This card's really, really good. Alright, they pop explosives. They have 1 mana left. Suppose they have like Pyrite Spellbomb into Red Source. Could do it. Nature's Claim, targeting their own Darksteel Citadel. Okay. I mean, realistically, we have another hate card in our hand, which is good, so. They get a 2. We cast Damping Sphere and hope they can't kill us. Haters. Fire Spout. Well, they hating right back, but I think that's okay because we got. Oh wait, I played the wrong creature. Ah, crap. Okay, I will hang my head in shame. I meant to cast the Exemplar first because obviously I can't cast the other creature because it costs 2. So we did not put lethal in play, and we're probably going to lose the game because of it. That's a tough one. Damping Sphere, Damping Sphere, Damping Sphere. It's not all upside. Inventor's Fair. All right. Cost 4 to search for something. Nature's Claim, the Damping Sphere. Okay, we are probably dead. That's very frustrating. Alright. So we just punted the game. I guess if they had the claim, they could have... They tap out last turn? I don't recall if they had a green up or not. If they could have gained life, we wouldn't have killed them, but we probably just misclicked away the game, which is very unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, they have Ironworks, Star, Explosives cost 0. They have Mox Opal too. Yeah, I think we're just dead. That's 7. Search for second Scrap Trawler. No. Mirror Retriever? I don't know. Spine of thing or whatever. Alright. Pretty frustrating. We might have just lost game 3 on the was that game 3? That was game 2. Alright. Ironworks stinks. They should ban it. End of story. And I'm not one to call for bans lightly. I'm not the kind of person who should ban this, ban that, ban this. I think Ironworks is just bad for Magic. They've already banned the second Sunrise decks and all the egg decks for similar reasons. It's just... It's the kind of deck where someone shows up to their first FNM, you know, they have their first modern deck, it's like Merfolk or Humans or whatever, or they borrow a deck from a friend, they're like, so excited to play round 1, and their opponent's just like, I'll announce Chromatic Star paying for 11 mana to, you know, like, I'll announce a loop, and they're just like, I'm gonna go play Xbox, you know? Yeah, not about it. Alright, that's fine. Oh, jeez. Alright, Mulligan. I mean, I guess we're keeping. We are on the play. I would like to do better than Memnite. Not a great hand. Celestial Colonnade. Okay. I mean, Thalia is pretty good. Our Mox Opal doesn't do anything yet, but Thalia is nice. If they're playing Jeskai, it's pretty tough. If they're playing blue-white, I think we're pretty able to get under them, and they're extremely reliant on just blind flipping a Terminus. Jeskai is tough, though. Electrolyze, Lightning Bolt, Snapcaster Mage, Path to Exile, Lightning Helix, Supreme Verdict is a pretty tough amount of things to slog through. Path to Exile, the Thalia. Alright. They're pathing Thalia on turn 2. They're almost surely just playing blue-white, so that's good for us. Shefet Dunes. So now I basically have to decide if you want to play around Supreme Verdict or not. Our hand is pretty bad. We just have 6 mana sources. We mulligan. We've only drawn 4 spells that actually matter. So, given that our hand is already really bad, we're probably better off just playing Blade Splicer here and putting lethal in play and just hoping they can't cast Verdict next turn. Because you probably can't beat a Verdict anyway. Even if you hold the Blade Splicer and say go and they Verdict away the 2 Exemplars, I don't think 1 Blade Splicer is going to be enough here. Ooh, okay, they have Opt. Will they get lucky and Terminus us? No. They top the card, though, and they cast Path to Exile. So, now extremely unlikely they have a Verdict in their hand. Shefet Dunes next turn. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 short. They opted top, so, and they don't have a land. That's pretty interesting. Leonin Arbiter. I think we just pop off Shefet Dunes here. I'm going to play Mox into Mox so I can have 2 mana up to cast Arbiter post-combat. I'm assuming they're going to snap Path here, which is not great for us, but suppose if they snap Path beginning a combat step, our Toolcraft won't have First Strike, which is devastating, but actually the Shefet Dunes activation will allow us to get around that, so... I could snap Path here, honestly. Turn off Metalcraft. No. Alright, I mean, just all aboard. Yep. So they get to... I think this was poorly played by them. I think they could have just pathed the Golem, turned off our Mox Opal, turned off the first strike on Toolcraft. I guess that doesn't matter because they... I'm sorry, never mind. Because the Dunes made it big enough where the block doesn't matter. So now they just probably block the Blade Splicer. If they have Jace bounce Golem, that's terrible too. I mean, they don't have a land, so Arbiter turns off fetch land isn't out. And we do have lethal next turn with exactly 7 damage, so hopefully their hand is just like Cryptic Command, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Terminus, Teferi, Logic Knot, something, I don't know. Well, they missed. They topped with the Opt, though. It's bad for us. Search for Azcanta? I mean, they're dead on board, so I assume they have a third path here, which would stink, but we are not in the don't have the luxury of playing around anything at this moment. So bombs away. Attack for exactly 7. Do you have a third path to exile or condemn? Alright. Sweet. Not a fan of this blue-white deck. I think it's far too clunky. I think it's far too reliant on just naturally miracling Terminus to be super effective. Alright, so Gideon's great. Otherwise, not much we really want. A card like Ethersworn Canonist is like kind of cool against like Opt and Snapcaster Mage, but we also have a lot of like white spells in our deck too. That kind of turns off. I want to keep Thalia. I want to keep Arbiter. I want to keep Splicer. I want to keep Loxodon. I want to keep Landing. I want to keep all the 1-drops. I don't mind cutting a Hope. Hope's kind of cute against Wrath effects, but it's just like the worst card in the deck probably. And then I think cutting a Blade Splicer is probably fine. Yeah. I want the landings for sure. All the 1-drops. Kind of just basically a spot where, like, if they Miracle Terminus, there's not much you can do. They're definitely, not likely to Miracle Terminus in the first few turns, but if they can, then what are we going to do? They Miracle Terminus. Okay. We've drawn some Loxodons. Sounds fun. It's not great, but it's fun. Any 0-drop would make it very good. That is not a 0-drop. Alright. Actually, I'm just going to hold the Ornithopter. There's no reason to play it yet. Yeah, so a 0-drop there would have made this hand very good. So we had 7 shots at it. Yikes. All right. It's not ideal, but it forces action. Now they kind of need to deal with one of our things. If we flip landing, it's pretty bad for them. And then, theoretically, we could cast Gideon next turn off our landing, so that's also really good. Telling time. Hand top bottom. Terminus? No. This deck's just so reliant on Terminus. And they opt main phase, which means they are probably looking for lands. And they bottomed as well. This all feels pretty good. Memnite. Alright, so right to combat. This forces them to path to exile our Thraben Inspector, which is great for us. Or whatever, the vampire, sure. Either way. So now we're going to let that happen. Get our land. Now we're not going to attack. And we're just going to play a Memnite. And play a Loxodon. Then if they cast Supreme Verdict or find a Terminus, we get to cast Gideon, which is great. So, no attacks. Land, Memnite, Venerated Loxodon. Our first Loxodon. So obviously a Verdict here kind of stinks, but the Inspector replaces itself with the Clue. We get 3 for 1, we cast Gideon. And this obviously means they have to have exactly a Verdict too, or a Miracle Terminus. Which does not seem to be the case. If they waste a turn playing Jace, set up for Verdict, we get to attack for a ton, flip landing, and play Gideon. Which looks like what's going to happen. So, alright, so we get to Gideon for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we can kill Jace too. Kill Jace, get in for 6, play Gideon, flip landing. Ornithopter. Alright. So almost assuredly getting Terminus next turn. So we go Jace, Jace, them. Flip landing. Is it interesting that I almost want to play Gideon and plus it? There's no reason to make a token. It's for sure to get Terminus. And plussing it makes it so it's out of range of Celestial Colonnade. Because they're probably making tokens on future turns. I like that a lot, actually. Because if they don't have Terminus, they're basically just dead anyway, so... Now if they play a land, they can't go land attack Gideon. And they field here, we get to float a mana and pop the Clue, which is cool also. Oh, I have 6'd. It's really annoying. I'd obviously would have liked to have floated a mana and then cracked my Clue. I'm sorry, folks. Playing too much Arena, I guess. Alright. We're going to play a Loxodon. That stinks. Alright. Make a 2/2. Never activate Gideon into path if you can help it. Inspector, get another Clue. Ornithopter. I think we just crack a Clue here and try and draw another 0-drop or 1-drop. Alright. A little awkward, but sure. Alright. There can't be a second Terminus because they've shuffled with Field of Ruin. Unless they have a 6-mana Terminus, in which case we just smash him for 5 with Gideon, which is nice. Lyra Dawnbringer. That is a magic card. Alright. Well, now I guess we're just flooding the board and just playing a bunch of stuff. Lyra can attack Gideon, which is annoying. If I make a token, if they attack Gideon, then cast Wrath, I might actually just plus... Means if I plus Gideon, they can just path to Gideon, which also sucks. But I guess better Gideon than something else. I make a token, I can't even Loxodon everything anyway. Alright, let's draw a card here to start. Everything we have is basically free anyway, so... Memnite. Okay. This is a very awkward scenario. Plus Gideon, they path us. It's terrible. If we leave Gideon where it is, and they have a Wrath, they get to attack Gideon with Lyra, and then just cast a Wrath. This is definitely kind of a rock and a hard place. They have cast one Path to Exile so far. Don't really have a solid way of knowing if they have one or not. Alright. I think I'm going to make a token. They have to have Terminus. They can have Terminus or Verdict. I mean, honestly, Terminus is going to be hard to beat anyway. So I'd rather make the play that's bad against Terminus, because they'll probably lose Terminus regardless. So, alright. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Make a token, make a Signal Pest, Venerated Loxodon, everything that's not a 4/4. And do you play as Memnite also? Probably. Just shove all in. I think I like shoving all in. Sometimes you gotta make him have it. I guess it might have been better to make the Memnite bigger than the one of the Knights. This would be better as a 3/3 and then this is a 2/2, but whatever. I suppose there might have been some value in embleming. Kinda, not really. So next turn we attack, we can Shefet Dunes. 5/5. Yeah, we get Emblem next turn. And then Shefet Dunes also, and then most of our creatures are big enough to kill Lyra. They have Colonnade too. It's mostly just depending. I mean, also, Cryptic Command's really good against Shefet Dunes, obviously. We sack the land and we tap our team. We'll see what they do. I guess if they have Cryptic, it's really bad too, because they could just they could Lyra, attack the Gideon, and then just Cryptic our team. We probably should have Emblem last turn. Like, if they want to kill Gideon, they can kill Gideon. And I wasn't considering Cryptic Command. Well, the Cryptic's not very good against us, but I can't imagine they would board it out, I guess, because it's like a necessity in their deck. It's actually kind of clunky. And a Fog is fine. They're really in a tank. We're not going to find out for a while here, I guess. I mean, if they had a Wrath, the play is very obvious, so they probably don't have a Wrath. They have a Cryptic, the play also seems obvious. So they probably don't have Cryptic. That's good. I'm going to field our Shefet Dunes. Alright, that's fine. That means they definitely don't have Cryptic, because they would want us to Shefet Dunes. Fortunately, we're out of basics. Alright. It's very peculiar. Because they only are making this attack if they have Cryptic or a Wrath. And they didn't Wrath. So theoretically they would want us to Shefet Dunes, because then they could just Cryptic. So that's a peculiar play. I'll move to combat, I guess. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, they have Path? Okay. Maybe they're doing math here, I guess. So we get to attack for... I guess we could have Snapcaster Path. 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So a Snap Path block. I don't have any good blocks. Whatever, we're attacking. When you have a bunch of power in play and you're facing down a Lyra, our options are kind of limited, so... So they path a 4/4. They're effectively just chump blocking. I don't really have any good blocks here. We are attacking for exactly 17. So it's probably just chump block a 4/4. They go to 4. We play a Memnite. Memnite Shyamalan here. Now they have Colonnade to block also. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So theoretically we have lethal again. So they block the both 4/4s. They take enough to kill them through the lifelink. Nope, they're attacking again. So that's probably really bad for us. Okay. Alright. That's a cryptic command. Yep, alright. Fog for a turn. And find Terminus. Yeah. Alright. I mean, kind of stinky. Perhaps, I think if we had emblem that Gideon, we probably would have won this game. I think probably just screwed up. Recognizing that they have the option to decide if they want to kill Gideon or not is... We want to remove that option if possible by just getting the value out of Gideon we can at the time. I think that probably would have been better. It all starts here. Thraben Inspector begins the rebuild. That's a Ghost Quarter. Probably can't win anymore. I'm just going to throw that one out there. Just a nice little soft toss. Yeah. Well, just going to attack them. Putting Jace down to 2 does not change anything. Ever feel like we're swimming upstream, you know? Like, can't make any headway. Alright. This card better be Gideon out as Zendikar or I'm going to concede the game. Okay. That was tough. Like I said, we probably punted. If we emblem the Gideon, I think we probably would have won that game. It's unfortunate, but It's alright. Their deck is pretty clunky, as we've seen in both of these games, so we definitely have a pretty good chance to get out under them, barring a Miracle Terminus on the first few turns of the game. So I'm not too worried. We do have good tools too. Legions Landing is very good against them. Oh, they have a lot of Field of Ruins. Gideon's obviously very good. Lyra is quite good against us, but we really can't afford to bring in something like Path to Exile in this matchup. So it's sort of just, they're going to play it. We got to try and get around it. Alright, Ghost Quarter, Citadel, Landing, Memnite, Ornithopter. Super awkward hand because we have white on turn 2, but not turn 1. I think we still need to keep, though. Possible early Gideon. Possible turn 2 or turn 3 landing flip. It's not ideal, but we're going to keep. There's no reason to play the Ornithopter again. We're just going to hold on to it. It's not a great hand, but it's okay. Thalia. Turn 2 Thalia is appealing. That seems better than turn 2 Inspector. I can get down with that. So we Ghost Quarter our Citadel. We have to find a Plains for free. And the Citadel lives, so it just turns our Ghost Quarter into a free fetch land for a Plains. And the deck's a little light on white sources, so it's a nice thing to have access to. Thalia will slow them down a significant amount. We get to landing for 2 mana next turn, flip the landing, and play Inspector, barring a Path to Exile. That's not bad either. It's kind of path or bust here. If they have a path, they'll happily use it on Thalia. Does allow for a possible Gideon next turn, though, which is kind of nice. Not the fastest Gideon of all time, but they are in the tank. Just your average blue-white control mage going in the tank. Opponent's disconnected, actually. Okay. Well. Our opponent has returned. That is nice. That resolves move to combat. Path to Exile or no? No. So we have to flip our landing, which is sweet. And we will be playing an Inspector. And it's going pretty deep all in here. With Thalia in play, we're not scared of a Verdict until turn 5. Using Jace to set up a Terminus will be difficult. Again, if they blind flip Terminus, we can't really do anything about it, which is why it's very frustrating, but... Mox Opal is pretty good. That's not actually good at all. Sorry. Now I actually need to think. We can't cast Gideon because we can't cast the Opal or the Gideon because of Thalia. We want to cast Loxodon. I think we're going to attack with just Thalia and then Loxodon out everything else. Which puts 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 power in play. So it's exactly lethal next turn. I like that a lot. That works well for me. We'd also cast the Mox Opal for 1 and set up for Gideon the following turn. This all feels good. Mana Leak. Okay, it's not a super common card he's play, but sure. Draw a card, I suppose. Ornithopter. We're gonna hold on to that. There's not a lot of value in playing that. And if they have a Verdict or something, or a Miracle Terminus, can't have Verdict. We get to play this, turn on Mox, and cast Gideon. So, Detention Sphere. Sure. I mean, that hitting Thalia is very nice because it's not hitting Gideon, and now we can cast Gideon this turn. So, that feels pretty good. Ghost Quarter, not really worth much. Only attacking for... So, we could plus here to set up for an emblem next turn, which is more... That's kind of more damage than a 2/2. I'm not just going to emblem here and make it a Glorious Anthem. That's really bad. We're only attacking for 3, though. Whereas an emblem next turn is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still not lethal. I guess if I can make a 2/2, I could just make an emblem if I have to next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to make a 2/2 and stack. We play this Ornithopter in our hand. Let's do it as 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't think it's necessary. It's also sort of like what's it doing in our hand? Isn't Ornithopter going to change the landscape of this game that much? It gives us our extra mana for Mox Opal. We don't really need that. It's only good if we draw Shefet Dunes or want to emblem. But whatever, just play it. If they Wrath, we have Gideon and Adonto. So okay. They can't Cryptic. That's a thing. Signal Pest. Alright, it's just a pretty easy attack, I think. Gideon does not attack into a possible path. If they have Settle or something, it's annoying, but we're not going to play around that. This is a thing. See no harm making a token here. I'm not sure what they can really have. Like Path to Exile is not doing much. Snapcaster doesn't do anything. Dillion Click? I'm just raw dogging a Snapcaster mage. Alright. So, again, here's a spot where I kind of want to just plus Gideon. I don't even know if I want to cast the Pest. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I play Pest and say go. They path the Pest and we're not lethal again. Nah, I want to make lethal, so alright. They have hardcast Terminus next turn. We just have Gideon to kill them, so this is fine. Gideon's very good. Just throwing that out there. In case you weren't aware of that fact. Alright, we dodge the Miracle Terminus again, which is good. Because I feel like that's the easiest way for us to lose. And now what? We have a bunch of power in play. Cryptic. I suppose Cryptic Command would buy them a turn. Another Legion's Landing? I mean, if I play Legion's Landing and they counter tap, That sucks. But I guess I could activate Gideon then. And if they have Path, that's bad. Should move to combat here, I think. They have to have Cryptic Command and nothing else, so... Cryptic, tap, draw. Sure. So, again, we could possibly plus Gideon here to set up for a possible emblem next turn. I don't think that really does much. Again, the fear is us getting Wrathed, in which case we kind of want to hold the Legion's Landing. But it's really Wrath or Bust at this point. I suppose a Lyra could prove to be a suitable bump in the road. Once again, if they just go land Terminus, we just kill them with Gideon anyway. So... Oh, we can't plus, they just Path. I'm sorry, never mind. I'm being stupid. Question here is, do we cast the landing or not? I think I'm just gonna hold it. We have infinite power in play. So... Timely Reinforcements. Go to 11. Field of Ruin's also interesting, because I want to have my Legion's Landing available. So I think we're actually going to get a Ghost Quarter of his Field of Ruin. I can wait. I can just do it on my turn, though. Yeah. Let's draw. Doesn't matter, because we have Citadel anyway, so... Alright. Ghost Quarter, Field of Ruin. Tap 4 mana. We just punted really bad. This just gives the mana for Cryptic Command. Magic is so hard. Obviously, I was trying to force my Legion's Landing through, but them getting an island gives them enough mana for Cryptic. Now I can't even play the landing pre-combat, because if I do, they'll just Cryptic tap. Counter tap, which is bad for us. If I move to combat, are they dead? We have 3/6 flying. Alright, I'll move to combat. Alright. Attack with everything. Suppose if they had Cryptic, they wouldn't have cast Timely. Ugh, Magic Sword. I just cast stupid Legion's Landing. It doesn't make sense. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. As long as they're going below 5, it's fine. Just make a token, play a land, say go. Now if they go land Terminus, they have a path for the Gideon and stuff, but I probably should have played the landing. Because if they had Cryptic Command, they probably don't cast Timely. They probably just leave up Cryptic Command and tap and draw. Alright, now they can have Snap Cryptic. Alright, same thing. Suppose just like announcing combat for lethal every turn for the entire game is not the end of the world, so. Yeah, so they snap Cryptic. Post combat, make a token. I think I like just holding on to the landing the pest at this point. Gideon definitely one of the additions that I am really, really happy about for fair matchups. As you can see, Gideon's just doing some insane work this game. All right, let's just move to combat again. Eventually, they'll no longer be able to cast Cryptic Command. Gideon has made 5 night tokens so far. They have 7 spells in hand. I have an idea. Let's make an ally. Now you gotta play something else also, because if we don't do anything else and they path in night, they can possibly attack and kill Gideon. So we gotta play some other thing here. I think Legion's Landing is probably the best. Jace the Mind Sculptor. I mean, if they have an Opt also and they set up a Terminus here, this is barely bad for us. Nope. Alright, so we pull it out. Blue-white deck, too clunky for its own good. And despite seeming like a pretty bad matchup, we pulled it through. 1-1, Gideon on full display there. This is one of the whenever you brew a deck up, you know, like you have a cool idea, it's a cool brew, it kind of does the thing you're supposed to do. There's definitely cards that make you really happy about it, that go beyond the scope of the initial deck. Toolcraft Exemplar in the main deck and Gideon in the sideboard are the cards I'm most happy with in this deck. Toolcraft is just such a great threat in your main deck, and then Gideon is just so good in your fair matchups. And you can cast it pretty quickly too. So, I mean, it's any 0 mana spell or Darksteel Citadel from a turn 1 Thalia. I might keep. Its hand's not very good, but it's got a lot of potential. As long as you draw a non-land, it's pretty good. Temple Garden. Oh my god. I don't think we can beat Bogles. Turn 1 Thalia will be good, but that was actually a very good draw. But beating Bogles seems difficult. Core Spirit Dancer. Toolcraft Exemplar. So, I think we Canopy, draw a card. Nope, we're one mana short of doing everything there. Alright, let's play Canopy. Play Toolcraft. Play Venerated Loxodon and pray that they can't. I don't even know. They'll get to play 1 Aura next turn, and it's going to make Spirit Dancer big. It's going to have 3 power. I guess it's not like the worst thing that's ever happened. Ooh. That plays. They missed a land drop. I mean, it's a wasteland them. Okay. Don't really have any good attacks, though. A 3/5 reach, a monstrous spider, or whatever it's called, is actually pretty good right now. But Wasteland is nice. It missed another land drop when we're kind of entering a null game state. Alright. This is a thing. Again, one of the things I like is that Arbiter Wasteland gives you a lot of game in your bad matchups. You just get lucky and strip mine them and take them off what they're trying to do. Yeah, we don't really have any good attacks here. We attack with everything. They just eat the Toolcraft. Oh, they eat Thalia. And they take 4, 8, 9, 10. It's not worth it. Heh. That is not a non-creature spell. That is also not good. Okay. Arbiter turns off fetch lands too, which is kind of nice. So, yeah, Reach is busted. Can't even get in with our Ornithopters. Attack with everything now. Yeah, it's still bad because they just chump block stuff too. All right, this is a weird game state here. We're being held back by a monstrous spider. Oh god, they drew a land. A non-fetch land too. Oh boy. We don't really interact in any meaningful way with Bogles. I think we're in big trouble. Spreading the love around a little bit. Toolcraft. We gotta draw a Loxodon, I think. Just draw a card. We did it. Okay. Now we just spread it amongst the smallest creatures. Yeah, giving the Toolcraft a 5th power doesn't really matter because it just gets first strike down anyway. I guess making Arbiter a 5/5, Loxodon on the 5/5 is actually good. And I guess that the Toolcraft trading with stuff is fine too. Alright, that's fine. We'll do Toolcraft and Loxodon. Thalia 4 power doesn't matter. I mean, they're just playing more ores next turn anyway. Ugh. Nice fetch land. Memnite. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. According to my math, they're dead. They block biggest, biggest, biggest. Take 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. Look dead to me. And they can't cast any spells, so we may have stolen a game here, but didn't seem stealable. Alright. Unfortunately, once we sideboard, we don't really get much. We get a Thalia, Heretic Cathar. And that is really it. It doesn't even do anything. It's probably better than Blade Splicer, I guess, but I guess Hope of Ghirapur is really bad. It does have flying though. Yeah. I mean, Path to Exile is only good against the Spirit Dancer, and that's not really a fight we're looking to fight. I think to win this, we need to cheese them out again with like turn 1 Thalia, Arbiter, Strip Mine, etc., etc. We just don't interact in any meaningful way here. A lot of tough matchups today. I don't think Ironworks is terrible. Like we did punt and lose, but I think our deck is exceptionally good against Tron, Valakut, any Serum Vision deck, like all the Arclight Phoenix decks that were really popular. I mean, I guess we're keeping. This is a pretty fair hand. It might have been worthwhile to just go back into the well here and try and find something better, but this hand has potential. Drawing a land, not ideal. No Bogle means Spirit Dancer for sure, which is bad for us. I mean, it's basically just a card Daybreak Coronet that we can't beat. So close to being relevant, but it's not. Daybreak Coronet is pretty unbeatable for us. But if they just make one big idiot, as we saw in the last game, it is possible to go wide around it. Oh my god. Alright. Three, 5 reach again. I mean, we're putting a good amount of power in play here. But will it matter? It's Daybreak Coronet or bust, basically. Oh, God. Spirit Link? Okay, it's not quite Daybreak Coronet. It's still pretty bad, though. So they have a 6/6 semi-lifelinker. Alright. Canopy. And we are Loxo flooding here. Doesn't have Vigilance. So we do get to crack back for a reasonable amount. I suppose Hope of Ghirapur doesn't really matter because of the Reacher. I can't play 2 Loxodons in one turn, can I? No. Before I cracked the Canopy, I could have, but that obviously doesn't matter. Also, it's not even good, as it can't tap things twice, so... 5, 5, 5. Yeah. Hope, 5 power, 5 power, 5 power, Hope. Oh, you can't just... Hold on. We can't just sacrifice Hope. Nope, we can't. Because in order to sacrifice Hope, you need to have a target player who is dealt combat damage by Hope this turn. So, with no target, you can't sacrifice it, so never mind. So you could have been able to sacrifice the life-linking creature and gain some... and stop them from gaining life. Spirit Mantle. Okay. This is getting more and more difficult. Understandably. They have 9 cards in hand. All right, so 22. If we attack with everything, do they die? I don't believe so. Let's just do it and see what happens. And we're just dead. Ooh. Challenge details. What are you doing? Go away. Yeah, we're just super dead. Alright. I mean, it's basically how I expected it to go in this matchup. We can't really interact with them. So just gotta hope for a good draw. I mean, on the play, we are capable of playing Arbiter or Thalia on turn 1 or turn 2. And we also are capable of putting a lot of power in play on turn 1 or turn 2. We're just going to look for a really good hand and try and do that. Honestly. And again, like I said a few times, it is very nice to have access to just insanely good hands in your bad matchups where you can kind of just cheese them out and steal wins. Being able to steal wins is a very important factor in the modern format. This hand ain't stealing nothing, so we are going to mulligan. This hand is definitely better. It's not great, but we're going to keep it. It has potential. It's, turn 2 landing flip plus Blade Splicer. So we draw a Thalia or an Arbiter or some sort of interactive element. Loxodon's good. All right. We're just going to go for the raw power approach here, I guess. Wow. All right. So next turn we can Loxodon. Would love to draw a Ghost Quarter. Ooh, a Spirit Dancer too? Wow. All right. It's kind of awkward because the Loxodon is like I guess we can attack with the Golem, play Legion's Landing, and then just make a big Loxodon. Yeah. Alright. This is a decent amount of power. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 power on turn 3. And the thing is, they have basically just again, do they have Daybreak Coronet? They do. First strike, Vigilance, Lifelink. Yeah, we can't ever win. Alright. I mean, we had a pretty good hand, but we are incapable of beating an 8-10 Lifelink Vigilance creature. Their hand was better. Turn 3, attack with an 8-8, an 8 power Lifelinker. I mean, that's modern for you. What are you going to do? We can venerate another Loxodon. Doesn't do a damn thing. Doesn't even matter that we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Doesn't even matter. We can attack for 16 on turn 4 here. We're just dead as a doornail. It's tough, but what are you going to do? The old Bogles gets you every time. All right, we are 1 and 2. Bogle's matchup seems pretty tough, but who plays Bogles, Who plays Bogles? Where are all the Arclight Phoenixes? When I was testing this deck like a week or 2 ago, you put against Arclight Phoenix literally every other round. So, Mox, land, Thopter, Lox. Gonna keep. Pretty much any creature makes his hand fine. It's not a good hand, but Arbiter's an insane draw. Thalia's a good draw. Almost any other creature is fine. There's no point in playing Thopter yet. Ooh, Urza's Power Plant. Okay. I can mess with Urza's power plant. We got our Ghost Quarter at the ready. We got our... I guess Arbiter doesn't work. Yeah. Memnite. That's fine. This plays. Turn 2 Loxodon. Pretty good clock with a Ghost Quarter. $11 power on turn 2. So we have a 2-turn clock here, and we have a Ghost Quarter. Can't complain too much, right? Seen worse. Loxobots. Worm Coil Engine. We're going to do our best to ensure that does not hit the battlefield. Chromatic Star, sure. Alright, so our game is how do you like them apples? Ghost Quarter turns into Strip Mine. See, if you just sing the Loxobots theme song, the deck is just much, much better. Just gotta put a lot of love into it, you know? Loxobots. Yeah. I think we were pretty good shape this game anyway. I think that Ghost Quarter was good enough, but I'm not going to turn down a Strip Mine. What are they doing? Like, we have 11 power in play, and they can produce 1 mana this turn. Silly Tron players. Okay. Sing the Loxobots theme song and things start to go right for you. Pretty simple. Damping Sphere, Thalia, cut Blade Splicer. I think Blade Splicer is fine. Not bringing in a ton here because you already have a lot of good cards in this matchup. Ghost Quarter, Arbiter, Thalia, all great. Fast Clock is good. You know, realistically, we can, you know, kill them. Unless they have turn 3 Tron, we can probably kill them on turn 3 or 4. So, obviously with them on the play, it's a lot harder. But, mostly feel pretty happy about this matchup. Of course, winning game 1 is nice too, because worst case scenario will be on the play for game 3. And I think being on the play is very important. Especially with a deck like this, not only is our deck predicated on just like doing a lot of damage fast, but we also just have Thalia and Leonin Arbiter, which are cards that are insanely good on the play. Much like Daze would be or stuff like that. Alright, this hand's pretty bad. We have the Damping Sphere, but we essentially have 3 1/1s and nothing else. I think I'm pretty happy mulligan this hand. If this was a Ghost Quarter, I would see maybe keeping it, but we're playing a couple 1/1s and not doing a ton. You can't give your opponent time. Damping Sphere does not win the game by itself. It's not Rest in Peace against Dredge. It'll slow them down, but they have answers to it, and they can just cast stuff naturally. Like, I think a good baseline for your Damping Sphere hands is, if your opponent goes turn 3 O-Stone, turn 5 Pop It, will you lose? And this hand will definitely lose. So you should probably just mulligan, because they can just O-Stone your board and your sphere and then kill you. So think we have to keep. Any white land, any 0-mana artifact, any 1-mana artifact is fine. We might have turn 2 Thalia here. We get a Scry. This hand is not good, but we have a Scry. We're on the draw. Possible turn 2 Thalia. We're going to keep. Also the Ghost Quarter too. Alright, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, unfortunately is not castable at the moment. So we're going to have to bottom it, despite how good it is. We have Mox Opal, Memnite, land, and that's it. So we got a bottom here. Try and find a white land or a 0-mana or 1-mana artifact. Opponent keeps 7 with turn 1 Forest. That is usually wrong. Because it means they have no Tron lands in their hand. You should never keep a 7-card hand with no Tron lands. Biggest mistake Tron players make it. Scrybug. The biggest mistake Tron players make is they don't mulligan aggressively enough. Does mean they possibly have like a Nature's Claim or something. You know, they kept this 7-card hand with turn 1 Forest. They probably have some sort of interaction, as well as like a reasonable hand. So, all right. We really need a 0-mana artifact, a 1-mana artifact, or a white source here. That plays. So now we get to cast Thalia, Heretic Cathar, or Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. If we cast Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, though, we will not be able to cast Heretic Cathar next turn because we can't use our Mox Opal as a Lotus Petal. We could also go Guardian of Thraben, Inspector. I kind of like that better because the problem is that Thalia making their lands come in tapped this turn doesn't really matter that much. Next turn, if they just go tap land, search for map, it's not that bad. I guess we have the Ghost Quarter too. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go Inspector Thalia. I don't know. It's tough, honestly. I mean, it's dependent on how made their hand is, which probably isn't very made at all because they went turn 1 Forest. So they probably need to cast a lot of stuff to find. Maybe actually going to Thalia here. We're gonna go Inspector, Mox, Thalia. Now we draw any mana source, we can just cast our other Thalia. So I think I like that. Lotus Petal, Thalia. Now you have 5 power in play and a Ghost Quarter. And assuming their hand is obviously not a made hand, they have to cast Stirrings and Stars and stuff, which makes Thalia really, really good. So, perfect. Yeah, so they obviously have no idea what Tron land they're getting. With their map, so they cast Stirrings instead. We have Ghost Quarter, they found a power plant. We have Thalia, Heretic Cathar. So we draw land, we get to play Thalia. If not, we'll Ghost Quarter them and just pray. That's an Ornithopter. Alright, so actually, it's very unlikely that they have Tron next turn. We could just take a risk and just not Ghost Quarter them and try and set up Thalia next turn. We have a 3-turn clock here, but it's probably not fast enough. I'm just going to correct the clue here. If they natural Tron me, it's fine. And the worst they can do is 5 mana, which is a Ballista for 2, which would be really, really bad. I think Ballista for 1 is bad right now anyway. I'm just going to crack this clue. Okay, well, that's pretty good. So now if we draw a land next turn, we can Arbiter Wasteland them, or Strip Mine them. No natural Tron, please. Okay. This does make Arbiter a concern. Oh, nope, 5? What costs 5? Oh, they have Ballista. Ugh. Even Ballista for 1 killing Thalia there would have been devastating, but alright, just any mana source. Now we have to Ghost Quarter or we're dead. That sucks. Alright. So he locks it on here. They kill Thalia in response. We Ghost Quarter them and just pray they don't do anything else. Okay, we killed the Ballista. That works out. Alright. Urza's Tower was the land they searched for last. So I believe that's what we're going to go for. Usually I like hitting the other lands first because you want them to use their tower to find the third piece. So it gives them 1 less mana when they find it, but I think Urza's Tower is the only land we're sure they don't have. So yeah, we're definitely entering the danger zone here. Not good. Hand was close. We were almost there. Think we got our hand caught in the cookie jar here. Oblivion awaits. Alright. We can go to the next game here. Don't think the Adanto, the first fort, and a Memnite is going to beat Tron and 3 cards in their hand, and they're at 12 life. That's fine. It happens. Still happy with the mulligan. Happy with the keep. Could have turned out a little bit better for us, but that Ballista was brutal. Ballista is obviously good against us. Alright. Alright, we're going to keep... We draw a white sourced hand's insane. If we have to Ghost Quarter ourselves for a white source, it's okay. Alright, we're good. Alright. You know, Plains Memnite, Citadel Memnite, not ideal, but Arbiter turn 2, Ghost Quarter turn 3, Toolcraft, Loxodon. This is basically what we're looking for here. Turn 1 Forest again? Who are these people who keep 7 cards with turn 1 Forest playing Tron? You ever played this deck before? Jeez. They're maniacs. Alright, well, turn 2 Arbiter on the play. Especially if their hand is completely unmade again, then turn 2 Arbiter on the play is real good. So, Next turn we have Loxodon, Exemplar Loxodon, or Wasteland. We draw Memnite, it's both. So any 0 mana artifact creature next turn would be really good. Could have Spatial Contortion, which would be annoying, but that's pretty good. I had Contortion, I should have cast that a long time ago, so probably don't have it, but if they do, they're getting strip mined, so it's pretty good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 11. It's a lot of power. Double Forest. Ancient Stirrings. Sure. They got a long way to go here. They are dead in 2 turns. And they are 2 land drops away from assembling Tron. And we have a Ghost Quarter. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think we just play Loxodon, attack for 8 and just kill him next turn. It doesn't really matter what we do, I don't think. But Loxobots. Alright. I mean, I don't really know what they can do here, honestly. $19 power and a Ghost Quarter. And if they ever tap mana, we strip mine them. And if we have to, we can just Ghost Quarter them, not strip mine them. What's up, Burnsy? Burnsy, of course, is our pet and the stream mascot. Having a drink back there. He's having a good time relaxing and watching Loxobots. Expedition map, you got it. And they could Nature's Claim their own map. I will attack with all of my creatures. What do you wish to do? Thoughts? It'd be cool if they had the card Fog. That'd be fun. That was played for a while in Tron when Infect was very popular. Alright, they will Nature's Claim my Memnite. I will go to 24 life. I will still present lethal damage. You are dead. But yeah, when Infect was really popular, Tron decks would board Fog. The Infect player would just be like, become immense. And they would just be like, Fog, untap, Karn you. Alright, 2 and 2. That was a good matchup, as you can see. Deck kind of did what it was supposed to do. A little bit of a bumpy ride so far, but deck's pretty awesome. deck does have a little bit of a fail rate. You know, you are playing a lot of Ornithopters and stuff, and you do want to draw the right mix of things. But, you know, there are a lot of payoffs here. You know, we have our Toolcrafts and our Landings and our Loxodons and Signal Pests and then Thalias and Arbiters. And the good thing is that when you're not drawing your payoffs, even if you're stumbling a little bit, you can use your hate cards to stumble them as well. So between Horizon Canopy and so on and so forth, it's not too hard to put together the pieces that you need. All right, we are going for the industry standard 3-2 here in Modern. And this hand's a little land heavy, but it's pretty good actually. It's turn 1 Toolcraft, turn 2 Mox Pest Arbiter. It's close to a turn 1. I'm sorry, we can actually go turn 1 Pest Exemplar. It's even better. Yeah, we have Land, Mox, Pest, Exemplar. It's pretty good. Turn 2 Arbiter. We draw a Ghost Quarter. Things get nice. If we don't, it's fine. This is a reasonable amount of power on turn 1 here. It's 4 power on turn 1. Canopy also makes this hand a little more appealing because we are pretty land heavy, but Toolcraft Exemplar is great. 3-2 first striker for 1 measly mana. Blood Crypt. Don't Dark Blast me. I don't know if it's better or worse. It's not good, but alright. Another fair matchup. Could be a number of things. Jund, Death Shadow, etc., etc. I guess we crack, because if we draw a 0-drop, we want to cast it. It's a little awkward that, like, if we drew a 1 or 2 drop and they discarded it from our hand the following turn, but alright, we're a little flooded here. Already at 13. Fortunately, a fair deck will match up very, very well against what we're currently bringing to the table, which is 4 mana sources and 3 creatures. And not much else. You know, they have a Lightning Bolt here or a Fatal Push to kill the Exemplar. We're attacking for 2 next turn. And not a bunch more going on. I think this deck is not great in the fair matchups. Nice. My hand sucks. Nice discard spell. Blade Splicer. That plays. That actually plays pretty well. I think we just crank it. I am tempted to get the just to get Toolcraft in here because I might just kill it, but if like Liliana of the Last Hope or some horrible card like that, that would be really, really bad for us. So just get the Loxodon out. They may kill our Toolcraft in response, but the nice thing about Venerated Loxodon is that it matches up really well against a lot of the removal spells in the format. You can't Fatal Push it, can't Lightning Bolt it. Alright, there's your bolt, as expected. That's fine. Attack for 8 next turn, which is doable. We are essentially immune to Liliana of the Veil. And Liliana of the Last Hope. A big Tarmogoyf or something would be annoying, but we could attack through it. We are close to playing snow covered. Playing Shefet or cracking Shefet Dunes. Not a great start, but Dark Confidant. That's not looking too great. That is a Ghost Quarter. That is also not too great. All right. I mean, worst case scenario here, they have like, fetch, shock, bolt, Loxodon after blocking with Bob. But I mean, we're pretty far in here. It's probably just chump block. They go to 7. We have Shefet Dunes next turn. It's a thing. This game has not been pretty, but we're doing stuff. Raging Ravine, sure. If their best play last turn was to chump block with Dark Confidant, their hand must be really bad. So, yeah, really bad. That card's nice. Definitely not the most exciting card in the deck in Blade Splicer, but it is quite good in matchups like this. Just 2 bodies, 4 power. I suppose worst case scenarios, they have a lightning bolt for our Loxodon and they just died everything else. We have Shefet Dunes across 4 bodies in that scenario, so maybe it was like a little tempting there to just like not attack with Loxodon and just play the pest, attack with the pests and try and let Dark Confidant kill them. But that lets them get lucky with Dark Confidant. They flip like, a land and play a Scavenging Ooze or something and things could go wrong. So, alright, that felt pretty good. We're interested in Forge-Tender and Gideon. We are not interested in the Hope. On the draw, I don't mind cutting the Arbiters. The Grizzly Bear is not super exciting, and I think on the draw, we're not really looking to cheese them out. Play a little more of a fair game. Once we're on the play again, the Arbiters probably come back in, and then we'll figure out what to cut from then. But we want all of our landings. We want most of our aggressive creatures. We want Thalia. I want Blade Splicer. I want the Loxodons. I want a lot of stuff. I think that maybe Forge-Tender might not be necessary, but they could have Anger of the Gods. Stops bolts too. I really hate to mulligan against discard decks. And our best card is immune to Inquisition. We're going to keep. They mulliganed, despite our hand being pretty soft to a Thoughtseize and possibly weak to a mass removal spell. Again, I really don't like mulliganing against the discard decks because you're giving them such a huge advantage. We have Canopy, we have an artifact land, we have a white source. Our hand is fairly immune to Inquisition of the Kozilek because we have 3 of the same card. I'm not stoked, but I'm okay with it. Horizon Canopy. All right. It's close to being good. Say mana off, but I suppose the card Coligan's Command is good against us too, but could attack for 0. I'm going to decline. There'll be no messages sent today. And next turn, hopefully we draw a Blade Splicer. Don't have Liana of the Veil. I'm sorry, of the Last Hope. Leonin of Last Hope. Anything that deals 1 damage is definitely, you know, one of the banes of this deck. Walking Ballista, Electrolyze, Leonin of Last Hope, Dark Blast, Conflagrate. Thankfully, Horizon Canopies are really, really good. Like, our hand looks so bad, but these are actually just 2 fresh new cards. So, Hooligan's Command. Destroy target artifact, 2 damage, any target. So they're just going to kill both my creatures. Hooligan's Command is good against us. That is not fun. Alright. Not an ideal world we're living in right now, but they mulliganed and they got their 2-for-1 back with Hooligan's Command, so we're on basically even footing here. Excuse me. Scavenging Ooze. Also not good. Also not good. Couldn't even evoke Loxodon if I wanted to. Also not good. Okay, we're probably in trouble this game. Sand has not panned out very well. We have Cycle 2 Canopies, and we have many, many lands. And the oozing begins. Not really sure what needs to happen for us to win this game. They have to have not much else. We need to rip off a pretty good sequence of cards here. Leonin of the Veil not leaving up a green mana. That seems strange. Would assume they would want to leave up a green for Scavenging Ooze. They had the option to do that and leave up Push or Lightning Bolts. I don't know what the deal with that is, but okay. That's not bad. All right. Ooh, boy. My Mox Opal's not on. That's a problem. Okay, I think we're just dead. I thought our draw was good because we could cast Toolcraft and Loxodon, but our Mox Opal wasn't on, so we were not able to do that. I guess we're just going to draw a card and pray. I don't know what we're praying for at this point. Yep, can't cast that either. Alright, I think we're in trouble. They have one... Actually, they only have 1 card left. We start Ghost Quarter, play Inspector, play Loxodon. I can still win this game. And let's attack the Liliana, I guess. Yeah, definitely a weird... Nope, not a weird tap. They had Fatal Push. Alright. Obviously, now getting rid of Ghost Quarter feels bad because they have Raging Ravine, but it's not. Nope, we're still short on. Still short. Yeah, we're just dead here. I mean, we're not like actually dead, but we discard Forge-Tender. They have Ravine. Yeah, we're just dead. Whatever. All right. That game was tough. We were just like a little bit off. We drew a lot of lands. Still think the keep is fine. Obviously, we got kind of blown out by Kolaghan's Command and didn't draw very well because we drew a million lands, but it's fine. I'm still fine with it. Back on the play now. Arbiters are back in. Thalia's out. I think I'm not interested in Forge-Tender anymore. And we will cut one copy of what? Don't really want to cut an artifact. I don't really want to cut Toolcraft Exemplar. I'm just going to cut an Arbiter. I don't want to cut anything else. An Arbiter's not that great anyway. If we draw one, cool. If we don't, it's also fine. I don't want to draw two ever. So this is a hand. Turn one Arbiter. Could be dangerous. They have Black Leaf Glyphs. Doesn't do much, but potential too good to pass up. Overgrown Tomb. Tilt. Blade Splicer? Sure. I'm happy with most things here. Any white source I can cast both cards is good. Any spell is good. Ghost Quarter is nice. Ghost Quarter? No. Extra Ornithopter, not super exciting, but you know, we're one Venerated Loxodon away from a good hand here, so Loxodon's good, Thalia's good, Ghost Quarter's good, Toolcraft's fine. They're already at 14, so if they have a fetch land, they have to kill this Arbiter first before they can use it. Obviously, they just drew Overgrown Tomb, Black Leaf Cliffs, whatevskis. Obviously, also drew the cliff that turn too, because they had Tomb on turn 1. So it is fortunate, to say the least. Grizzly Bear, Scavenging Ooze, go. Huh. Okay. Let's Ghost Quarter them first. Because if they decide to block, I don't want to lose it. I think we actually just don't even attack with the Arbiter. It's very possible they have fetch lands in their hand. Because they obviously drew Cliffs last turn. They would have Cliffs on turn 1 for Thoughtseize. So they drew Cliffs and played it, and they played this on turn 1. It's possible their other lands are fetch lands. So I'm just going to attack with the Toolcraft Exemplar. I'm going to protect our Arbiter a little bit. Kill their green source so they can't pump. Toolcraft, it will do a good job getting in for a while. We draw a card off the Thalia. Yeah, it's got first strike. You probably shouldn't block there. Toolcraft Exemplar is really good. Alright. Let's see how this turns out. Because if the remaining lands in hand are fetch lands, they'd have nothing right now because they need 2 mana to crack them. So they can't have that many green non-fetch land green sources. They play like a forest or 2 and might have a duel or 2. Man, they just all these non-fetch lands. Lucky. All right, so we have two shots next turn at a Ghost Quarter or a Venerated Loxodon. Or another Mox Opal. Hello. Loxobots. Didn't have a bolt or a push here. I'm feeling really good. Oh, yeah. Now we need a green land or nothing battles. And we just attack for 1 million and we're just dead. Alright, green fetch lands. So they can pay 2 and fetch. Eat something. Have a 3/3. We're attacking for 1 million. I don't think we care. Blade Splicer. I can get down with Blade Splicer. I suppose it is possible they have Damnation in their deck. But if that is the case, so be it. There's no guarantee they can even play lands next turn. They're just chumping. Okay. That's lethal, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's 7 damage. Loxobots strikes again. Alright, so all things considered, it felt like a lot of things went wrong in that league, and we still 3-2'd. We saw a lot more of the power of a deck in those later few matches. Like that game was a good example. Just lay some stuff out, get the Arbiter, turn 1 Arbiter going. Even with them drawing multiple non-fetch lands that were able to cast things, we still got them. You know, with a Ghost Quarter here and a slowdown there. So I think that bringing a deck with powerful opening hands to Modern is a very good thing. You know, Affinity, Hollow One, all these decks that can put a lot of power in play on turn 1 or 2. That's great. But adding an element of disruption to that is really, really nice. As we saw at times, our disruption didn't do enough against Ironworks. Against the control decks, you know, the Arbiters aren't as good. You know, whereas they're really good against the Trons and the Valakits of the world. You know, but against a lot of the popular decks in the format, a card like Thalia is just fantastic. All the Arclight Phoenix decks. Arclight Phoenix has been so popular in the last few weeks. Obviously, my teammate Ross Merriam has been crushing with the deck. He has 2 open top 8s with it in the last few weeks. And Arclight Phoenix is everywhere. And if everyone's playing Serum Visions, playing Thalia is a good idea. So, Thalia is great. Mana base is great. There are a few avenues I want to explore with this deck. I'm not convinced that this is the final version. I would like to try splashing red in this deck for the card called Kuldotha Rebirth and possibly Reckless Bushwhacker. Bushwhacker obviously does not play well with Venerated Loxodon, but plays very well with Cathar Rebirth. And Rebirth offers up a bunch of tokens for 1 mana, insanely good Loxodon turns, things of that nature. Possibly moving away from Leonin Arbiter and trying to be a little more aggressive. I'm not sure. There's a lot of ways to go here. I don't think Blade Splicer is awesome. You know, it's fine. It fits the deck, but it's not necessarily perfect. A lot of things to experiment with here that I'm gonna work on further. But deck is super fun. This is a deck that, you know, went from being I'm gonna build a cool deck for my stream, you know, to being all the way to being played at the SCG Con Invitational. You know, 5-3 is not great, but it's a solid record. And deck's got legs. It's super fun. This deck is so much fun to play. As you saw in a lot of those games, you're just like, guy, Loxodon, flip Legion's Landing on turn 2, Thalia you know, it's really, really fun. So the deck is great. It's a blast. I'm going to keep working on it. I don't think this is the final form. I think it's like a solid choice in Modern right now. And obviously the rogue element of people not knowing what it is not as apparent when you're now watching this video and reading articles about the deck and stuff, but still very powerful and just so much fun. It's also called Loxobots. I mean, what a good name, right? Just say it. Seriously, you're watching right now. Just no one's with you. You're just watching it. Just say it. Loxobots. Felt good, right? It's cool. But sweet. So, everyone, thanks for watching. Of course, like I said, this is my wrap-up video for the Invitational and SG Con. I played 2 rogue decks, Rakdos mid-range and standard. This deck in Modern, I came in 35th, which is not great. You know, it's $500. You know, out of 450 players, it's not bad. Would have liked to have done better, but you know, 5-3 in Modern, 6-2 in Standard. If you missed the article on Friday, check it out. All about Rakdos mid-range and Standard. I also have a video I did on CoolStuffInc.com about a month ago about Rakdos mid-range, an earlier version of a deck when I was still working on it. And it's been pretty fun, honestly, to play 2 decks that I've been working on stream and in my articles at a big tournament. You know, I don't try and do that, you know, I'm going to play my decks. You know, I only play them if I think they're good. And I thought both these decks are really good. You know, so try it out, Loxobots, and I'll see you guys, of course, on stream, and then on Friday as well for my next written article. Christmas is coming. I have some cube stuff I want to do. Look back on the year a little bit. It's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned. You're on CoolStuffInc.com. For watching on YouTube, make sure you hop over to the site. Don't be shy. Comments always welcome in both the YouTube comments and the Cool Stuff comments themselves. Thanks for watching. I'll see you fine folks next time. And make sure you tune in, of course, to CoolStuffInc.com. It's Christmas. Do some shopping. All right? Your family and friends will love you. Have a good one, friends.